Welcome to Deals with Heels, where female entrepreneurs thrive. I'm Deborah.
And I'm Christina.
And we are your hosts. Welcome.
Welcome. It's our first studio guest. I'm so excited.
I'm excited too. We have a little bit different set because we have a third person on the set. So it's exciting to have that this season. We have a lot of virtual guests this season.
Yes. I love the couch. I love it when you bought it and love it when it's here.
Well, I'm so excited to be here.
Yes.
Well, our guest is a visionary entrepreneur and the driving force behind a successful commercial electric company, FG Electric. Recognizing the critical need for more diversity in the trades, Jean has dedicated her career to opening doors for women in this field with founding WorkHers United, a nonprofit to help more ladies enter the trades and support those already in it. Her passion for equality and excellence has not only elevated her business, but also made her a key figure in championing the inclusion of women in the trades. Through her leadership, she inspires change, empowers aspiring tradeswomen, and continuously works towards creating a more inclusive industry. Please welcome to the studio, Jean Florea.
Well, hello. Oh, thank you. I am so excited to be here. And you guys, that is just wild hearing all those things that you just said about me. Are you sure you're not talking about somebody else?
Well, I'm pretty sure. I think I got that off your website.
I'm sure I probably hired someone to write it. So, yeah.
Well, we're so happy to have you with us in studio. I know that you and I got a chance to talk for quite some time. I can get kind of chit-chatty in the evenings after a long day of work.
It was wonderful.
And you and Christina have known each other for a little while.
We did a conference together, and I can honestly say the growth that me and you have had over the last year is incredible. Watching each other.
Absolutely. I don't even think that we look like the same people, we act like the same people, or talk like the same people that we did a year ago.
Yeah. I genuinely, I look back at those pictures and I'm like, yeah, that's not
Who
even.
was that? Who was that shy girl?
Yes.
Right?
Christine and I were just talking about yesterday how I feel so almost disconnected from recording last season. I feel like such a different person.
Absolutely.
That it's kind of a thing. We're all growing so much, and I love that. We'll put Jean's full biography bio in the show notes.
It seemed like a biography. It was so long.
Well, and the whole thing we'll put in the show notes, but I wanted to give you a chance to maybe tell a little bit about your story so our audience can get to know you better the way Christine and I have already been able to do.
Absolutely. And we will definitely do the condensed version. And so, like I was telling the ladies yesterday, I was raised very, well, we'll say the word uber religious. And even though my home was filled with so much love and so much kindness, and all of my childhood memories are absolutely wonderful and filled with love, but I was taught that women do come second to men. And it was from the Bible, and that's how it was supposed to be. And that you weren't questioning it. So when I chose my profession and stuff, I chose to be a pastor's wife. I am not a pastor's wife anymore, and so you can tell that didn't quite work out. We had I dealt with things like infidelity, and just a really hard time in my life. Definitely questioning my identity. What do? I had no skills, no money, and 3 children at the end of a failed marriage. And so I was able to finish my bachelor's degree. I came from a line of teachers, so my mother encouraged me to get my teaching degree, and I became a special ed teacher. Had to make a career and make a living for my children and do it quickly. And so, you guys, that was the perfect career for me. I thrived. It was wonderful. I loved every bit of it. In 2014, I met my love of my life, Michael Florea, and we married, and I guess you can say the rest is history, but not really. We started our company, FG Electric, just a year and a half ago. We opened our doors and took our first job. And what was wild is, you guys, we had no savings. We had no money. We had nothing. We had actually tried to start a business a couple years before that, failed miserably, let me say that right, and but learned a lot of lessons. And so coming into FG Electric, I remember we had to check our bank account every morning just to see what jobs we could take. Because in the construction field, you have to buy your material up front. And so we could only take the small jobs first. And but you guys, at the end of our first year, we were able to close our books with close to 800,000 in sales.
That's fantastic.
That is awesome.
And, you know, that's what we call bootstrapping. You bootstrapped your own business and starting it. And so many of us have to do that. So many women are starting over later in life and finding their way and their path. And it's a unique way for you to get all the way to where you are now. So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and we are not young. I'm 47, so I'm definitely closer to 50 than any other age. And so starting over at this age was wild. And then what we discovered after our being in the trades, well, we've always been in the trades, but having our own company the very first year, I went to our employee agencies and I told him, I said, guys, send me a woman. And he goes, well, find one. And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, there's got to be female electricians. And he said, in my 10 years of doing this, I've had one. I was like, dang it. And he said, and when I sent her out to the job site, they hired her immediately. And if you've ever used temporary work, you know there are big fines if you don't follow the guidelines and if you have to wait so many days before you can hire someone using an employment agency. They paid the fines. They don't care. They wanted her. She was that good. And what I found is I found that same situation over and over and over. I've now tried to hire 2 or 3 female electricians. They make more money than I do. I can't afford them yet, but it's cool. They know their worth. They know what they can get paid. And I've tried to hire one girl twice, and she keeps getting raises. So you're welcome. But but this need was huge. And about 2 months ago, when I checked in America, there were over 900,000 open trade jobs. So open construction jobs, people looking for people who would work in construction. And to me, I was like, well, you know what? Let's talk to the ladies. Let's see what we can do here. We've saved the labor force before, you know, if we want to talk about Rosie the Riveter. But so it's our turn again. And that's when we decided and we founded WorkHers United, made that a nonprofit to help more ladies get into the trades and support the ones that are.
That is awesome. You know, I've followed your journey, and to me, having a daughter and giving her that option. You know me, I'm all about the beauty queen. I don't really want to get my hands dirty too much, but it's awesome to show that because it just wasn't kind of acceptable. Like, oh no, I'm not gonna. And the ones that love, like my best friend loved being with her dad,
Absolutely.
doing construction and all the things. And so that's awesome that you are paving that platform for these young teens.
Absolutely.
Of doing that. And that's what I feel what we are trying to do so much is change the way for women in all areas. It doesn't necessarily have to be my way you know, it's just being able to have the option to do those things.
Think about it. In high school, when you did your aptitude test or your career test, was it ever presented that you should be a bricklayer or an electrician or a welder? No. I mean, that wasn't even, if you checked female, those were automatically like not even an option.
I grew up in a really small town in Northwest Oklahoma, a farming and ranching community, and girls worked on the farm.
Yes.
They did a lot of manual labor working on the farm, picked up rocks out of the field. You walked behind and you picked up rocks and threw it in the pickup bed. And I've worked wheat harvest and a lot of those things. So I think, but they didn't grow up to do that. And it was growing up to get, that was like the family all pitching in and working together.
Oh, absolutely.
And some of those, you know, women grew up and now they're married to a farmer and rancher and they're really involved in that business. So I was kind of exposed to that.
Sure.
And I definitely feel a kindred spirit with you just because there was a part of my career for about 8 years that I ran a construction company with my husband at the time.
Yeah.
And there was definitely no support for women in that industry. And I didn't do the construction part of it. I ran the business.
Sure.
But And for a short time, a couple of years, I ran it completely by myself, while my husband at the time ventured off into other things. So I feel you, and I think it is fantastic what you are doing to support older women that want to go into the trades.
Absolutely.
And because by the time you're our age, you've been doing some physical stuff because you probably couldn't talk your husband into doing it, right?
Oh, yes.
So you come home and I'm painting the wall because I want to do it, or all of those things. And so to support them, but then younger girls too.
Oh, absolutely. And there's so many things about being in the trades. Number one, the pay. In my field right now, I can hire a green electrician right out of high school and pay them anywhere from $18 to $20 an hour. And so, of course,
As an apprentice.
As an apprentice, yes, with no experience. And in Oklahoma, if you are a 4-year journeyman and you have earned that title, there's no reason why you should be making anywhere less than $35 an hour. And so just the pay. And what's really cool about the trades is that women make 99% the same pay as men. That does not happen in other industries. And so the trades, we've got that going for us. And
it definitely doesn't, and especially here in Oklahoma, we have one of the widest gaps between what women and men are paid for the same jobs.
Right.
And
Not in
overall,
construction.
overall in the country, that disparity is about $400 billion.
Yeah.
So it's a huge amount, and I think that's a good thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, and one thing that I try to point out to the ladies too is in the trades, there's apprentice programs and then you're a journeyman. But then after that, you have the opportunity that you can test and you can become a contractor. So as an electrician, as a plumber, as HVAC, all of that, that allows you can now be a business owner. So you have not paid for any college classes, you don't have college debt, and you can open your own business. And so maybe you're afraid you don't want to work out in the weather for the rest of your life. You don't want to turn wrenches forever. You don't. In the trades, you put your time in, you put your 4-8 years in, then you can open your own business. And that's one thing I want the ladies to remember and to think about. And also our young girls, I really encourage them anytime that you can, take those business classes. Even if it's just we're watching little things on TikTok. We're watching things on YouTube, but get those business smarts, get those business things. That's one thing I wish we would have done so long ago, because now we're learning as we go. As I say, our hair's on fire and we're still learning.
We focused a lot about starting businesses and the steps and writing business and marketing plans in season 1, because it is a big deal to do it right.
Absolutely.
And think of all of those things as you go. One of the things that Christina and I did when last season was we worked with her business and went through and did a lot of steps that she hadn't done yet. When we would prep an episode talking about stuff, she hadn't done those things either. And some of them I didn't do when I opened my business.
Right? It's like you listen to me like, oh, wait, what was that?
Yeah.
Hold on. I don't know that term.
Well, a lot of it is I quit learning. Like, I was really good at customer service. I excelled. I was at the top of corporate ladder,
Sure.
making over 6 figures a year. Hi, who needs school? Who needs
Right,
books?
right.
And then life changed, but I was really successful at running somebody else's business, but I didn't have to do the marketing plan. I didn't have to do the business plan and all of those. And it's like, oh, we'll just jump right in and fill all the gaps later.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't
It's just
always-
like us. And when we needed something done, you call the back office. You say, hey, I need this report. Or, hey, I need that. And now I have people calling me, I need this report. I'm like, well, how do you run that? What's that? What do you mean?
Yeah.
So nice that you're the IT department and the marketing department and the sales manager and the salesperson and the janitor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All of the above. And
Yeah, so we learned early on your bookkeepers and your CPAs, those need to be your best friends and get to know them well.
yes. If you don't pay for anything, pay for the bookkeeper and the CPA.
Yes.
The rest you could probably get away with, but just take care. If that's not your strong suit, take care of it.
absolutely.
Yes.
It is. And I think women are very well suited because of all of the hats we have to wear in just regular life
Yeah.
to play that role and run all of those things. That's why you have been able to be so successful. It's that you can wear multiple hats and we're very adept at doing that as women, I think.
Oh, absolutely. One of my favorite roles that I play right now is Gigi.
Oh,
And so
yeah. Both of y'all are.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had my first grandbaby this year. She just turned 7 months old. And so that is absolutely one of my proudest accomplishments and one of my favorite hats that I wear.
Well, I became a grandma this year also. My grandbaby's 10 months old.
Oh.
And I talk about her a lot because she's 10 months old. They live in Colorado, and I have been there 4 times to see her, which isn't enough. And
Oh.
they're just growing up,
Yeah.
growing up. So,
Oh, it's wild.
yep, it is. So we talked about the good things of 99% same wages, which is fantastic, but it is very much a male dominated field. What are some of the obstacles that you have faced because you're a woman in that field?
Yeah, I stumble because I'm like, where do I start?
And how did you overcome them?
Okay. In starting our nonprofit, I started and I was so excited and gung ho. And I was like, let's go. We got this. We're going to put women in the trades. And we were setting up for our first job fair. And I remember calling one of my favorite electricians, a young lady, and asking her, I said, obviously your employer supports females in the trades. So how would you talk to them about being in the job fair? And she said, Jean, I'm sorry, I can't. I was like, okay, why? She said, because I can't recommend anyone to work for this man, especially a woman. And I mean, my heart sank. Number one, I love this woman, and she's incredible. And to know that she has to deal with that on a daily basis just broke my heart. And then number two, I'm just like that there's so much that he has power over her. I mean, all the nasty, ugly stuff of it. But that was one of the things I realized that our girls need support the most in. So I'm actually working with someone and trying to work a deal that we have access to law help. Not necessarily that we have lawyers on our team or something, but someone that our ladies can talk to know, what's going on, to know if they have a case, to know how to even face the next steps. So number one, sexual harassment is a huge thing that they come across. We have not been very good at teaching our young men that we don't need to comment about young ladies' bodies. We have not done very good about teaching young men we don't need to touch ladies' bodies or force ourselves upon them. And so there's a lot of education that needs to take place that we need to go in and reteach our young men. But also there's education we need to teach our young ladies, how that we stand up for ourselves and that we don't accept a lot of times when comments come our way. And that is one of the things that I have made sure, and I've made a practice in my company, that I don't let anything slide. That if a little comment is made, that I address it at the moment. I made a comment once that we were having a female on, and there was a joke, and it was like, ha, 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 they look good in our shirts. And I was like, oh, no. We're going to stop and we're going to talk about this, And a lot of times they don't mean it.
I think they think it's a joke.
They do.
And they think it's funny, and it is funny when it's in just their company, but
yes,
it's inappropriate.
Well, and it's a way that they mask their awkwardness.
It is.
Mm-hmm. And they don't know how to deal with this situation, and so they will say things, but they're just not appropriate. And so that's why I say it's education.
It is, and I'm always, are they low-key hitting on me? Are they, what is happening? And it's a really uncomfortable feeling when you're at work.
It's
absolutely
uncomfortable
is. Anyway.
Yes.
But I also think it would help if women weren't so dang critical of each other.
Oh, absolutely. Oh gosh.
that's a
whole other
sometimes
subject.
If a woman gets sexually harassed on the job and they're attractive, then they deserved it. If they, and women carry that torch. They are the ones that say that. And we must stick together and support one another.
And my proudest thing I can say is that does not happen in my world. And I will not allow that to happen in my company. And I will not stand for any of that. But my company's tiny.
Right.
And my world is tiny.
Well, we're
And
grateful
yeah.
for the example.
Well, I mean,
Little
and it
baby
all
steps is what
steps
it
will
takes
start.
to get there.
Yeah.
And women understanding that it's okay to have a voice. Your husband isn't in control of your
No.
voice box, and it's okay to stand up for yourself. And more importantly, it's okay to stand up for someone else
Absolutely.
that's being mistreated. And the blaming somebody because they were
A female.
discriminated against,
Oh, yes.
because somebody treated them inappropriately, and blaming that person, it's a horrible feeling. And I've had it happen to me more times than I can count.
Oh, sure.
And I found myself watering myself down and not being my true self because I didn't want that kind of attention, and I didn't want women to say that about me, and all of those horrible people pleasing, hide yourself. And that played a huge part in me being in functional freeze and losing my identity. And
Oh, absolutely.
I'm never watering myself down again. If I want to wear a short dress and heels, I'm going to.
You do it.
And I should be able to do that without someone acting inappropriately with me.
Oh, and what a disservice we do to women when we water ourselves down, when we don't show them that example of standing up for ourselves and just saying, hey, no, this is how you actually do it.
Well, and that's the biggest thing. I really feel truly around 2020 with us being able, that's my next question of our healing journey. I feel all three of us are on a very deep healing journey. And one of the biggest things is being our truest form of self and empowering other women. And that's what this podcast is all about, is truly empowering other women. So what would you say from a becoming unstoppable with your healing journey has gotten you, like what part of that has gotten you to becoming the person you are right now?
Gosh, and healing is such a huge, tiny word. What does healing mean? And I talked about this recently, and healing to me is peace. Operating from a place of peace, from a place of just when I'm able to sit back and when I can breathe. That's what healing is to me. So much of my life has been just a healing journey, from healing from the religious wounds and what I was taught of what I could be as a woman, what I could not be as a woman. One thing we haven't talked about is my physical healing journey. I used to weigh over close to 350 pounds.
Wow.
And so here's my tattoo. Let me see it. My surgery date was January 26th of 2022. And on that date, I had gastric bypass surgery. Took one of the scariest steps I've ever done. In fact, 2.5 years before that, I started the process, but the doctor hurt my feelings, and I got scared, and I didn't go back. But in 2022, both my husband and I had the surgery together, and it absolutely changed our lives. The confidence that I gained in just regaining my health, regaining just the movement in my body, the wanting to go, and then just realizing too, when the physical healing came, that didn't necessarily mean that emotional healing followed.
No, and it's
It
the
does.
first step, though. I mean, for my first steps in this last 3 years of my healing journey, from when my mom died, I guess really 2.5 years, was my own self. I didn't feel like myself physically.
Right.
I didn't feel strong. I was always an athlete. I didn't feel like I could do physical things. And for somebody that's really independent, that was just limiting of who it's part of my identity. And so it's a really important part of your healing journey.
It really is. And, and going from almost 350 pounds to under, 200 pounds, and looking in the mirror, and I still saw that 300-pound girl. And I still saw the flaws. And when when I would play with my flabby arms or my belly or whatever, I was, that was the 300-pound girl. And being able to go back and love that 300-pound girl. So in turn, I can love me at my size, because really the love had nothing to do with the size. It was just me.
Well, and that's the thing, is so many people think self-care is just washing your face or, taking a bubble bath or what. No, it is really working on your inner self and your
Absolutely.
inner peace so you can be your best self and love every aspect of who you are at that moment.
And one of my favorite discoveries on this healing journey is that your healing journey comes in your day to day practices, in what you do from morning to night. We can have these grand, overt, emotional experiences, and they're great and they're wonderful. And that could start something, that could be the catalyst. But change actually comes in every day. What are you doing when you wake up?
Small
How are you
bites.
taking? Yes. I mean, I've gone on the retreats. I love the retreats. They're my favorite. I don't think I'm going on vacations anymore, just retreats from now on. But it's what you do when you leave. It's what you do when you leave your therapist, when you leave your life coach. What are you putting into place?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just me, I tell them, yes, we're with each other an hour a week.
Right.
But what are you going to do that other 6 days?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
it's even like a Kobe Bryant, if he didn't work each and every day on basketball, he would not have been the Black Mamba that he
Exactly.
That's
is.
exactly right.
Exactly.
Well, we're coming to the end of our time, and I would like to really talk about the nonprofit and some of the stuff that you guys do, and talk about how our audience can support it, how they can make donations if they want to, how they can get involved if they want to. Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Yes, money. Money.
That's always it, folks. It's always about the money.
It just is. I can do a lot of stuff, but without money, I can't hardly do anything. And for some reason, my husband said that he was tired of funding all of my journeys. So.
Yeah, I think we've heard that a time or two.
I know, go figure, right? So no, actually, we have a lot of things that we want to accomplish with Workers United. A couple of our main money spenders, I guess what you would say, what we need money for, is when ladies or when anyone goes into the trades, one of the most expensive things is to tool out. And so what that means is to buy your first set of tools. Usually when you go on the job, they expect you to have most of your basic tools, and this can cost anywhere. I've seen, if you can get wholesale, anywhere low as $300, but if you're not doing wholesale, it's going to be up as high as could be thousands of dollars.
Yes.
And so one of the things we want to offer is scholarships for tool outs for ladies when they're starting in the trades. And so that's one of the ways. And then another scholarship that we're looking to offer is for ladies to go to trade school. If you are from, and we'll talk about Oklahoma City, and I'm sure it's similar in almost any state or city. If you graduate from a high school here in Oklahoma City, you can go to a trade school even after you graduate for free, up to the age of 24, and you can have a program. And so you can choose any of the programs that the trade school offers, and you can go for free. However, a lot of people don't make that decision in the right time, and so they're a little over the age, and then it's expensive to go to trade school. It's definitely less than college, way less than college, but you still have to pay for it. Or if you go to a trade school, we have things like IEC and their electrical schools, and so we want to offer scholarships to ladies so they can go to trade schools. And so those are the main two things that we're going to need money for. That's going to take a lot of money. Those things are very expensive. Mm-hmm. We've found a need that people are asking. They want ladies to teach class on basic how-tos.
I would love that. Yeah.
Isn't that great? Like they say, how to basically, the how-to of electricity, how-to of plumbing. And so I want to offer those classes. And so, but we'll have to bring speakers in. We have to rent venues, things like that. And so it just takes money. But absolutely, you can go to our website at workersunited.com. And you can fill out an interest form, and you can absolutely make a donation there.
I love that. We will have links to that in our show notes, to her F3 Electric and to the WorkHers United site where you can make a donation and get involved. I love that. I also, if anyone out there in our audience knows someone for some of the big manufacturer of tools, Snap-on, any of those brands, please send them our way.
Absolutely.
Send them our way. Our ladies would love to have some sponsorship and some donation for this group. And I think that's a great opportunity as well. We have lots of entrepreneurs that watch and listen to our program, and I know they are very well connected. So that would be fantastic. If you'd like, you can email any of that to me at Deborah@dealswithheels.com, or we will have links to Jean's websites, and she has contact information there.
We absolutely do. I have an incredible logo, and it would look good on any hard hat
I
that you
know.
want to put it on.
Yes, I love
the hard hat.
feet.
I have a
I
really
know.
gigantic
I've
head
actually
for a woman,
reached
though,
out
but-
to Milwaukee. They do
There you
not
go.
have
How
a
cute
pink
is
hard
this,
hat right now.
right?
Yeah,
How cute is this?
it is. And I told him, I said, "This is what we need. Then let's get it going."
I love that. I mean,
do, too.
it's awesome.
Isn't
I
it
love what you're
wonderful?
doing, and just so grateful. You know, we've actually done a lot of virtual guests, and this is one of the only ones we have out of Oklahoma City. I think we're only doing 2 this year.
I'm so excited.
yes.
Thank you for having me on.
So definitely take a look at our show notes. We'll have all that information, and I think it's a wrap.
It is. Until next time.
We're out.